if we go to, yep.
I got you.
Debris. That one. All right, so right here, right around the Putnam area. See these green colors? That's suggesting that there might be a tornado on the ground. That is what this is telling me. We are seeing some sort of an indicator on radar that we've got debris. This is flying objects, bits of wood, whatever. But that's the main thing we got to take shelter from when it comes to these tornadoes, is the flying random objects that tornadoes and the strong winds blow around. The way this works.
Aaron, if I'll say the National Weather Service chat says possible tornado heading towards Ellaville on Highway or U.S. Highway 19. That's the
so let's get a
Breeze
closer look
tornado
here, then.
debris signature right now. So let's treat this as a confirmed tornado on the ground.
Yeah, I mean, the debris signature is pretty convincing here. That is, you know, you see blue colors here? That's really bad. Greens is still bad. You know, we're probably talking small debris right now. But you also have to think about the fact that tornadic winds are very strong, and, you know, even a simple pebble flying at 80, you know, to 150 miles an hour can be absolutely devastating. So that's why when it comes to being in your safe place, got to make sure that you bring pillows, a helmet, stuff like that with you, because that is what's going to protect you from the impact of the damaging winds. When most people are injured in tornadoes, it's not because they were picked up from somewhere and flung somewhere else. It's the flying debris associated with that tornado that gets blown around all over the place and leads to those injuries. So that's why you want to protect yourself. This, very, very convincing right now. Looks like it is on the ground, about to move through that Putnam area. And we're going to continue to move this further east. Ellaville, 1247. That's 5 minutes from now. Need to be in your safe place, most interior room in your house on the lowest level. Definitely need to be.
Looks a little bit better. Doesn't look like as much debris in the
that does look a lot better.
Sure
you know,
does.
and that's the thing with these, is that they can spin up very quickly and then they can be done, which is great for most of us. But for those of us that it impacts, it's not as great. So that's why it's important to continue to stay wary. I would still be taking shelter here. I know that the scan may look a little bit better, but I would definitely still be taking shelter here. If you are in Ellaville, for sure. You know, if you're a little bit further east, let's say Andersonville, let's say, you know, Ideal. Ideal might be a little far north of this. I would still be in my safe place just in case. Montezuma, I would be on guard right now. You know, be on guard, watching this. Is it going to end up re-intensifying, or is it going to continue the trend that it's showing right now where it begins to fall apart? Because again, if we just go back a scan or two, you definitely saw how that intensified. In fact, here, Chris, can I see that mouse?
Yeah, I'm gonna put you in motion too.
Yeah, go ahead and put that in motion. And Dwayne, throw the graphics back over here, please. There we go. All right, so as you can see how that kind of, right there, as that turned green like that. So that was only one scan that was really convincing. But that's all that you really need to be like, okay, this is something that's probably on the ground. We need to be taking care of it. So Chris just went ahead and circled that for you so you can see that was that bit of debris. Again, when it comes to the colors of this, all the reds and pinks, that's whatever. The debris detector is looking at things that don't fit in. All the rain is uniform. It all comes straight down. When the radar sees flying random objects, that's what gets that to show up. So if you see dark blues, that's likely a very, very powerful tornado on the ground. Luckily, that's not what we saw here. We saw light shades of green. So now we're going ahead and check the rotation out. Not too much going on. It's still rotating some, and I would definitely still be in my safe place as I'm in Ellaville. But it definitely does not look overly impressive. Is this storm relative velocity, or is this regular?
This is the storm relative.
This is storm relative. Oh, no, here's storm relative. Yeah, here, put it on storm relative.
You want storm relative?
Yeah, go still storm relative.
Yep.
So yeah, like a little bit of rotation here, not too tight, which is impressive to see. Again, this tornado warning in effect for another 15 minutes, so I would still remain, you know, in my safe place in somewhere like Ellaville, just because there's a chance it could re-intensify. What if it respins up? You know, a lot of times we'll talk about when we're tracking these storms, like, oh, this storm has had a tornadic history, where like we've seen that particular storm spawn a tornado in the past. So now we can say that more likely for this one here. Chris, we can go ahead and check out, let's check out power outages. So we're continuing to follow this. Obviously, we do also this other severe thunderstorm warning over here. This one, Cochrane, Chester area. This is mainly in relation to wind and a little bit of hail. We've we've definitely seen some hail brought by these storms, which have been moving eastward throughout the late morning and early afternoon hours. So getting close to 1% of folk in Houston County out of power. Looks like over in Taylor County, 1% of the population right now out of power. That's pretty good. Unfortunately, I do expect there to be some more power outage issues we continue through this afternoon and evening. Definitely a bit of a strong wind threat. If I go ahead and throw the radar back up here again. All right, and yeah, clear those out. So yeah, strong wind right over here with this severe thunderstorm warning coming out of Cochran, heading into northern Dodge County, that Chester area. Still seeing a little bit of that rotation. This storm now making its way over Ellaville, so need to be in that safe place. The rotation not looking good. It's not looking good, which is good to see, but it is still rotating some. Let's go ahead and throw the debris scan up there one more time. Make sure that that trend is still continuing to weaken. Yeah, that looks a lot better. That looks a lot better. So if you recall, just go back like 2-3 scans, we were seeing a green, pretty pronounced green dot making its way from Marion County over into Sly County. And we're tracking this now, middle of Sly County, starting to head over towards Macon County. So Montezuma, we barely are in this tornado warning right now. Clearview, we're in there. Ellaville, this area that was rotating, moving over the area now. Just stay in that safe place a little while longer, another 5-10 minutes or so, and you should be good. By the way, don't worry about this blue thing right here. There is no rotation over in that area. That's very much the inflow associated with the powerful winds that we are seeing with that storm. That's more of a bow echo in our eastern counties. If we throw up the regular radar, you'll be able to see just that. So let's, yeah. There you go. So right here, I mean, this is bowing out a little bit. So very strong winds. This is making its way into the northern parts now of Dodge County. I do believe the storm here, Chris. We got the skits here. Let's see what we got.
That skit's going the wrong direction.
You think so?
Yeah. Well, yes.
Because, I mean, a lot of the storms with this system have definitely been moving east. Just over the past couple of days, there's been a lot of due east type moving storms, which is why it's going to take so long for this to get out of our areas. This is, well, as a whole, the entire mess is moving southeast. But each, like, storm that's within it is moving east. So it's taking a long time for this to get out of the area in terms of middle Georgia. Like, it started to get here around 10:45 in the northern counties, and we still have a number of spots further off to the south that are, you know, not even really seeing that rain yet. Like Dublin, we're starting to see a little bit of rain now, but nothing crazy as of yet. Is that tornado warning still going?
It is as of now.
It is as of now. Let's go ahead and just get one more
Let's
click on that
skit.
for the time. So Ellaville, yeah, we're right there. I mean, the rotating area we've already seen, that's over Ellaville currently. But a little bit further, see, it
looks a little bit better than it did earlier.
Yeah, it's trying to pick back up. That's the thing. That's why I say you need to stay in your safe place until it is 100% not over you, because sometimes the rotation starts to weaken, and then it starts to re-intensify again, and it can all happen very, very quickly. So you just want to make sure that you are just in that safe place. You know, it's not strong rotation, but it looks better now than it did just, 2-3 minutes ago. So just going to continue to follow this.
It honestly looks like it did before they issued a tornado warning.
And then we very quickly saw how that scan on the debris detector
so our
immediately
viewers definitely
showed.
need to still be in their safe spot. It looked like they cut out portions of Marion County from that tornado warning, and they've kept Sly and, of course, Macon.
I would
portions
anticipate that
of Macon County.
I would expect that we're probably going to end up seeing an extension here. If this continues to look like this, if you could peep that chat, I wouldn't be surprised if we are going to get an extension on this tornado warning just as we continue to see this rotation here. So I would anticipate that. So with that being said, let's look a little further east, right? We've talked about Montezuma being in here a little bit. Oglethorpe in there too. Well, this is going to continue to come further off to the east. Unadilla,
Dooley County,
Byronville, yeah, Dooley County. Time to start, thinking about getting towards that safe place. And it's not here yet, but just looking at what I'm seeing on the radar right now, The current warning is set to expire at 1 p.m. It is 12:50. If they're going to extend the warning, it will happen before 1. You will see it extend before that. And I just think right now there is enough rotation to justify an extension to this tornado warning. So Pinehurst, Unadilla, Lilly over in Crisp County, time to start thinking about getting in those safe places, start gathering pillows, blankets, weather radio, water bottle, things like that, your pets, and just start trying to get to the lowest level of your home, in the most interior room, away from windows. The big thing is to get away from windows. You want to make sure you're away from flying debris. The concern with tornadoes is not so much you may get sucked up and thrown somewhere else. It's just the simple little things that's blowing around. A tree branch moving at 120 miles an hour hits you in the head, that's probably a concussion. So that's why you got to make sure to protect yourself and to bring all that stuff, pillows, blankets, helmets, whether it be a bicycle helmet, a paintball helmet, any of those are great protective gear to have with you in a safe place.
Watch the loop. You see how it's kind of strengthening a little bit.
Yeah, it's strengthening a little bit, number one. And number two, it's also like, you see what's going like almost northeast, east, like almost wants to try and turn southeast. There were a few storms I saw doing that in Tennessee yesterday. So it'll be interesting to see how that trend continues. Like I mentioned earlier, a lot of these storms are basically moving due east.
The city of Vienna needs to be paying attention further on down if it continues to kind of jolt a little bit.
Yeah, I would say anywhere.
Anybody in Dooley County.
If you're in Dooley County right now, period. You're in Dooley County, you need to start thinking about taking shelter.
I do know that the Twiggs County schools have decided to dismiss at 1:30, but not the smartest of decisions, but they have decided to.
The problem with that, I'm never a big fan of schools letting out in the middle of these because we don't need people on the road during tornadoes. That's the whole thing. We don't need the children are going to be much safer in a building full of cement where they can do tornado drills and stuff like that than they will be on a school bus on the road right now. That's just my opinion on this, but this is not the type of weather you need to be on the road in right now at all.
Check out that severe thunderstorm.
Yeah, this is two completely different threats here. You got the tornado threat with that warning of the southwestern counties, right? And then we've got this straight line wind bow echo storm that we've been tracking. It initially had some decent hail with it earlier down in Peach County. It's gotten further east. Let's actually see, is there any hail on there right now?
Let's check that real quick. I'll keep this query up looking at the wind speeds there.
Now you see those winds? That's a lot of wind, 40 plus miles per hour. That's definitely blowing some branches around.
That'll knock a tree down if it's...
yeah, especially if we have seen a lot of rain lately. Luckily, that's not the case. Yeah, so there's definitely some hail with that storm as well. So actually wouldn't be surprised if that hail is the reason for the severe warning. Those winds that we weren't seeing, not over 58 miles an hour. 58 plus is the category for severe wind for a severe thunderstorm. Let's see. They have not yet extended this tornado warning, so that's good, but that also doesn't mean they won't extend it. I still say if you are anywhere in Dooley County, you need to be taking shelter. Let's actually, let's get a look outside, sky view. How do these storms look on one of our cameras here? Here, it's the camera button. There you go. All right, so here we are over Macon. It's kind of a lot of rain. Pretty icky looking, but at least nothing too crazy going on here. And then for Forsyth, I don't think there's a whole lot going on either. I wish I had a camera further south, especially down in like, Marion County or more so towards Macon County, where we are continuing to track that tornado warning. So let's go ahead and pull that back up.
Okay, it's taking its time.
It's all good. So there you go. Hey, all Georgia into perspective here. So yeah, this is a wind and hail warning over here. This is the tornado warning that we're continuing to follow. Let's go ahead. Let's check the debris one more time. Okay, so this is good. We are not seeing a re-strengthening on the correlation coefficient right now, which means, like if you recall, you go back a few scans, there was that green dot that was like, hey, probably some sort of debris being blown around here. Not saying it was a very strong tornado. But
I do have an
enough.
update from the National Weather Service. They did say that Sly County Emergency Management did report a tornado as it was entering the county from Marion County. So we do have confirmed wording on this tornado. So you definitely want to go to your safe spot right now if you live in Macon County or even downstream down in Dooley County. Definitely a serious situation. And we'll take it back to radar, and Aaron will look at it a little bit in depth for you.
Yeah, so like I mentioned, that green dot, there you go. The EMS just confirmed that. That was indeed suggesting a tornado was on the ground at that point. It's just so crazy how quickly this formed up. And that's why you've got to make sure to stay on guard, because there you go, right there. That green dot right there as it comes in from Marion County into Sly County. And then you see it weaken more and more in terms of any indicator that there's going to be something on the ground. But when you go back to that rotation with the storm relative velocity, you're going to see that it's still trying. It's still trying to rotate some. This has not fallen apart yet. And now, with 100% fact, we can say that this storm has a tornadic history. It has spawned a tornado. Was it in the F0? We'll find out later. But the fact of the matter is, it spawned a tornado. Even if it was on the ground for just 2-3 minutes, still a tornado. So, that being said, those of us further east, Montezuma, you look like you might be a little bit north of this thing. I'd still be in the shelter just in case it makes a sudden change in direction. But Dooley County, anybody in Dooley County, definitely need to make sure that you are in your safe place, because I expect them to extend this warning. It still hasn't been yet, which is a little surprising to me. But I do expect them to extend that warning. They
have, let's go back to Dodge County real quick, Aaron, and take a look at that, because they're saying that leading edge of that storm is kind of rotating a little bit. Yeah, I think you can see what they're talking about. Folks, it's right above my shoulder there. You can definitely see
yeah, they actually,
rotation.
I think they just put a tornado warning out on it.
Yep, they sure did. They have issued a tornado warning
so
for that
let's
leading
see.
edge of it.
Not very impressive.
It's really not. But,
that is not very impressive compared to the other one. Let's get the details on this one. 1:30 p.m., Dodge County, for this tornado warning. I would definitely still take shelter. It doesn't look as impressive as the other one. Debris, don't think. It's not on there.
The skits.
Yeah, there is no skit on this one, so I cannot just make you get a BTI. And like I said, this is an inflow notch. This is an inflow notch.
There's nothing show tightening of rotation, though.
Yeah, there's definitely some rotation, but that is nothing at this point that I can 100% say is on the ground. But most certainly, if you are in, so we're talking southern Dodge County here. Excuse me, this is northern Dodge County.
That's also portions of Lawrence County as well.
Northern Dodge County and over into western Lawrence County. Time to start seeking shelter.
Keep in mind, this is not Dublin yet. So if you live in Dublin, you may be hearing these tornado sirens, but no need to worry about this.
I honestly don't know if this is going to end up going through the Dublin area. You can see it. I'm just basing this simply on this polygon here. So I dragged this out southeast, not seeing it highlighting anything here. I do want to.
It's a pretty, from my experience, it's a pretty rural portion of Lawrence County, but definitely if you live in this area, you definitely want to be in that lower level, most interior room away from windows. Put as many walls between you and the outside world as possible, because these storms have had a history of producing tornadoes today. So definitely want to take every tornado warning you get seriously today, folks, as these can spin up really quickly.
Extension on that other one.
Aaron, you got anything?
No extension on that other warning yet. Let me go back to now here real quick. I want to redraw this out this direction instead. I want to see if that makes a difference. Not really. Not really. So that's good, at least in terms of lives, but obviously the livestock and farmland, you're not trying to see get messed up by a tornado either. But yeah, I'm going to assume this is moving due east, not getting... there's less conclusive evidence right now that this is a tornado versus what we've been following over here, with that Ellaville storm and whatnot over here. So